Hey there, Hofstra fans. Welcome to this week's edition of the W.B. Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Mike Sullivan, joined this week by head coach of the Hofstra Pride Wrestling team, Rob Anspach. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Very good. First time we're doing this season, the upcoming year. First, though, we'll look back at last year's success. You come away with the CAA victory and also a couple All-Americans from last year's individual over at the NCAAs. How would you assess last year's performance for your team?
I thought it was a good year. Obviously, dual meet-wise, we went 12-3. Winning the CAA championship is always a goal of ours. And then going out to the national tournament and coming home with 2 All-Americans was nice. I felt when you look back at it, we missed some opportunities. P.J. Gillespie losing in the All-American round, that was a very winnable match. I would like to see him finish his career as a 2-time All-American. I thought Ben Clymer was another guy that was pretty capable of being an All-American, and things just didn't work out for him, but they had great careers. Definitely two leaders of our program for the past couple of years. So overall, it was a good year, but it gave us some things to improve on. We came back with quite a few guys that now have NCAA experience. Jamie Franco, Luke Veit, Paul Snyder was as a sophomore, did not make it last year, so I think we've seen a little bit of attitude adjustment in Paul over the summer, trying to get back to that NCAA tournament and do something nationally. So it was good in the aspect that we had some success, but we came short some individual performances, and I think those guys really put a lot in the summer and are preparing for this year to make sure that doesn't happen again.
You brought up the names Gillespie and Clymer at 165 and 184, two of probably your bigger losses heading into this season. Can you just describe what those two players meant to your program and how you replaced them at those two weight classes?
Yeah, I think if you look at what they did, Ben finished his career with about 97, 98 wins. That's a lot of wins. PJ over 100, I think 110 wins. Those are hard people to replace when you have somebody that consistently you can count on to go out there and get a victory in a dual meet. I mean, that's 2 weight classes that we almost counted on every time out of 10. It's difficult to replace those guys. I think what we're looking at now is 184. We were able to bring in a transfer who was a silver medalist in the University World Championship. So we're looking at him to step right in there and wrestle as well, if not better, than Ben did. PJ is a weight class where we're going to have to see what's going on. We got some younger guys coming in there. First time Nick Turtis is going to be going in there, and it's his first opportunity in the lineup. So he's got some big shoes to fill, and he's got to grow up pretty quick.
Now looking at this year's roster, the first name that jumps right off the page has to be Steve Bonanno at 125, a returning All-American, a very successful junior campaign. What do you think he has done over to the summer to prepare himself for his senior season, and how does he improve on such a successful year?
I think the biggest thing with Steve has been his confidence. From the time he was a freshman, even until last year, he's one of the most dedicated wrestlers we have. He's very hardworking, but he seemed to lack some confidence in his matches, and that was the biggest difference last year. He got over that hump. And then what happened was he became an All-American. So now instead of really questioning whether or not, he did a great job of believing in himself, but now he's an All-American. So now he knows it. Nobody can take that away from him. So I think his expectations went up this year. He went from, hey, I want to get on the podium, to I want to win a national title. And when you come into a season with those types of goals, you're going to do the things necessary. It's just a little bit more intensity from him every single day. I see it with his runs, with his lifting. Everything's just up a level. So that's the way you improve on those types of things. He had a great season last year, but he's not satisfied. He's not finished. So he's picked up the intensity in his training just a little bit more, and in hopes to win that national title.
Looking at the schedule you've put together for this season, of course, Hofstra Wrestling, a renowned program nationally this weekend. You start off with a couple matchups against Minnesota and Wisconsin, but also down the road, some things like the Grapple at the Garden with Ohio State and Iowa. What did it take to put together this type of schedule to challenge your team heading to the 2012-2013 year?
Well, I think this team is very fortunate that they can rely on what the former wrestlers have done. They've done a great job putting Hofstra on the national map. So when we call Minnesota and say, hey, can we come out and wrestle? We're coming out to Wisconsin. Can we stop by you guys? They say, yeah. They jump at that opportunity, and they're going to return the favor in a year or two and come out to wrestle us, because the teams we have put out in the past are capable of wrestling these programs. So when you call Ohio State or Iowa and say, hey, we want to wrestle you, they jump at that opportunity. We're not doing them a favor, or they're not doing us a favor. I mean, it's going to be a competitive match, and we expect to win. So, and they know coming out here, they're going to have their hands full. So putting the schedule together was pretty easy as far as that aspect of it. When we were looking at what we were doing from a team-wise, we obviously have some guys that are seasoned and experienced and need to be challenged. That's Steve Banana, Luke Veit, Jamie Franco. They need these challenges of the guys that they're going to wrestle from Minnesota, Iowa, Ohio State, because those are the guys that are going to be seeing at the national tournament to become an All-American or get into the national finals. Our younger guys, I believe they need to see that type of competition in November so that they understand this is the level you need to be at. I mean, we could have put a schedule together where we would wrestle some teams and we'd come out and we'd be wrestled really well, but our guys still wouldn't know what it would take to be an All-American come March. I want them to know that in November, so if they need to make any changes, we can make those changes. If we do that in February, it's too late. It's too late to do it. So we wanted to challenge them right from the start, let them know, okay, this is what's expected, this is how hard you need to wrestle, these are the guys you're going to see if you want to be an All-American, so let's wrestle them, and then we can come back and we can reevaluate what we're doing as a team and either pick up that intensity, which I think the intensity is good, or just really continue to learn wrestling and improve.
Coming off a CAA championship for this year, you're in preseason selected first in the conference rankings. How does this non-conference schedule before you get into your conference play will prepare you to fight for that goal for another CAA title?
All of our matches we put together, whether they're Big 10, Big 12, wrestling Oklahoma, Lehigh, Cornell, they all prepare you for those conference matches. Yeah, we're ranked first, and that's great. It's nice. It's a preseason ranking. It's very early. I was on that call where we were doing the rankings. Our lineup is completely different than what it was when we went through there. So while it's nice and it's something that we can talk about as a goal, we just got to take every single match, get a little bit better. It doesn't matter who we wrestle, whether it's an Iowa or an American or a George Mason. We got to go out there and try and reach our potential every time we wrestle and be in search for that perfect match. And if we do that, I believe talent-wise we are good enough to win the CAA championships. Actually, I know we're good enough to win it. We just have to perform on that day in March, and then qualify as many guys as we can for the NCAA championships.
You brought up a couple of new faces on this roster, and Nick Turdick and Taurus Luzny, but who are some of the other new faces that fans and viewers will get to see this season that could have an impact on the 2012-2013 edition of the Hofstra Pride?
I think, two guys really in particular that are going to be out. And it's not really a new face. Cody Ridgerello has been in the program for a long time. He's finally getting healthy. He's going to see quite a bit of time this year at 149 pounds. Kind of splitting time with Justin Accordino and Matt Zapataro. It's kind of going to be a three-way person until we figure out what we can do at that weight class. And then at 197 pounds, Victor Puzhny is a guy that was third in New Jersey, has a great work ethic, big, strong kid for an 18-year-old, and I just expect him to keep getting better and better as the season goes on. It's one of the things when you come in at those weight classes, you're wrestling some men, and he's just kind of a young pup right now, but he has a great attitude. He's got a great work ethic, and I expect by the end of the year for him to be competing for a conference championship.
Now, already this weekend, you have your first couple matchups with Minnesota and Wisconsin. What have you done to get your team ready to prep for these Big Ten matchups?
I don't think we've done anything different than we would have no matter who we were wrestling. We've concentrated on our conditioning, we concentrated on our strength, and technically we just trying to be as sound as we can. It's really been preaching to them to kind of stay focused. We're going to go out to Minnesota. We're expecting a great crowd out there, a couple thousand people to wrestle in front of, and for the guys to just understand it's just a wrestling match, and it's 7 minutes, and they've done this numerous times. Through high school, they've done it. They've done it a ton of times in the practice room already. That's just another match that you have to go out there and compete to the best of your ability. Take everything else away from it. It's 7 minutes of your life. Don't make it more than that, and just go out there and compete. And so just talking to them about going out there and doing everything they can.
Finally, Coach, as we get set for the season to get underway, what does this team have to do for at the end of this year to get that conference title and then prepare individually for possibly some NCAA success?
You know, every day, just it's always the same. The wrestling season is a long season. We start in November, we end in March, and we need the team to realize it's more of a marathon than a sprint. And we got to just take little steps every single day. We got to concentrate on getting a little bit better. Every day we come in the room, learn from our mistakes, learn from our matches, and if we do that, again, I think we're the most talented team in the conference. So if we can do that, that should take care of itself. And then at the NCAA championships, we got guys that can win. And if they improve as much as they did from last year, from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, guys like Jamie Franco and things like that, they're going to have a lot of success.
For head coach of the Hofstra Pride Wrestling team, Rob Anspach, I'm Mike Sullivan. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the WBAC Coaches Report.